What's going on YouTube? This is Devon from No Other Way. Maybe you already knew this, maybe you didn't. But did you know that most unbelievers actually think that Christianity and Islam are just alike and often wonder how we can say that we're not? Some go so far as to say that we serve the same God. And believe it or not, most Muslims actually believe that we do serve the same God. Now, I would need to do a whole nother video to explain why we definitely aren't serving the same God. But when it comes to this question, how can we say that Islam is not like us and that we don't have the same views on how to get to heaven? Now, I can give you a lot of things that make us different, but I want to stick with the most important, if not the most important teaching that makes us different, and how you can use it in your defense of the gospel. So if you stick with me through this video, you're going to have some valuable information that you can use as you go out there and share the gospel. By the way, if this is your first time visiting my channel, if you wouldn't mind, hit the subscribe button, and while you're at it, click the bell. And if you're already a subscriber, make sure you click the bell. That way you get notified whenever I post new content, and you'll help me out. All right, let's go. Now, as I give you this, I want you to keep this law in mind. The law of non-contradiction. The law simply means this: a thing cannot be true and false at the same time. Let me give you an example. Suppose I would have turned in a resume, and on the cover letter I put down, I'm a 30-year-old black male and I'm a 23-year-old Scandinavian wife. Now, the person that looks at that resume is going to ask three questions. Is this person this? Is this person that? Or is this person neither? They're asking that question because the statements contradict one another. When it comes to our stance versus their stance on salvation, you have to point out the contradictions to show that we don't relate. And what is the biggest contradiction that we have with each other? Works-based salvation versus faith-based salvation. All right, so take a look at Islam real quick. Islam believes that works are going to get you into heaven. Look at Surah 8:29. O you who believe, if you are careful of your duty to Allah, He will grant you a distinction and do away with your evils and forgive you. And Allah is the Lord of mighty grace. So Islam believes that for whatever thing that you've done bad, you must do more good to cover that up. Basically, they think that after you die and you get to heaven, God is going to look at your good deeds and God is going to look at your bad deeds. Now, upon looking at your good deeds and your bad deeds, if your good outweighs your bad, God is going to just forget your bad deeds and allow you to go into heaven. Now, on the surface level, that makes sense, but it's not logical. So when you're talking to somebody about this, you need to point out three things. One, show them that they have a conscience. Two, point out their morality. Three, show them that justice is actually stronger in them than they actually know. So let me give you an example on how you can actually attack the conscience and morality and show them that they actually have justice in them on somebody who's leaning a little bit more on the side that, yeah, you know, doing the good deeds is going to outweigh the bad. That makes sense. Okay, ask him this. Let's say a man is in court. He just murdered somebody. The somebody he murdered was a husband and a great father. Now, suppose he tells the judge this: Your Honor, I pay my taxes, I work hard, I give to charities, I help people if they need help, I don't lie, I don't steal. I just had a really bad day and I spazzed out and I killed the man. Why don't you look at all the good that I've done? Now, do you really think that the judge is going to sit back and do this? Well, you know, you got a point there. You just had a bad day, you made a mistake. You know, she's a good looking woman. I'm pretty sure she can find another husband and get a stepfather for the children. You know what, jury, let him go. No! What does the book of James say? Whoever keeps the whole law but fails at one point has become guilty of all of it. The man in the courtroom is not in the court of murder. The man in the courtroom is in the court of law. Murder is a statute in the entire law. The man at that point is considered now a lawbreaker. Consequently of that, the sentence handed down is justifiable. Now, if the judge, who's just a man, who's actually sinful himself, who actually needs to repent and accept Christ, is going to hand down a sentence like that because he believes that justice needs to be served. Why? Because the law demands it? What do you think a righteous God is going to do? I'll let that swoosh around in your head for a minute. Let's go to Christianity. As Christians, we strictly hold to grace by faith alone. Let's look at Romans chapter 3, verse 20. For by works of the law, no human being will be justified in his sight, since through the law comes knowledge of sin. Now let's go to verse 27 and 28. Then what becomes of our boasting? It is excluded. By what kind of law? By a law of works? No, but by the law of faith. For we hold that one is justified by faith apart from works of the law. We strictly believe that our works count as nothing. We have zero reliance on doing anything good to get into heaven. Zero. Because nothing we do is ever going to be acceptable enough to God. Nothing we do is going to cover the sin we've already committed. That's where Jesus Christ comes in. He has paid for our past, present, and future sins. That does not mean that we agree with antinomianism, basically a license to sin. Christians believe we need an advocate, just like the lawyer is in there for the murderer. The contradictions point to this. We do not see eye to eye, nor do we have the same view on how one gets to heaven. The goal I'm getting at is that you have to show the contradictions. Now, Islam in and of itself is a contradiction, and literally Islam is foolish. I mean, they murder and kill Christians all the time in other countries. Now, I don't know how they intend to make up for that. I mean, you like literally behead people and blow churches up, and you expect to make up for that. I don't get it. Now, I don't want you to get it mistaken when I say unbelievers and Muslims. Muslims are unbelievers. But specifically, when you go out there and you share the gospel with Muslims, make sure you use the contradictions that we have. Now, when you're just going to talk to other unbelievers, I want you to make sure that you can debunk their thoughts that Christians and Muslims are alike. So if there's anything else you wish I had said or anything else that you want me to talk about, leave it in the comments and I'll see if I can get to it. This is Devon, no other way. Hey, go out there and share your faith. God bless.